So definitely keep that in mind. Now let's see. I know you lying. So his son got a song with who? Sean Kingston, and I guess he goes by the name of Yui Popcorn now, and he has 0 monthly listeners on Spotify. If we have to go ahead and add that in there,
Like zero, the
Won't,
number
won't be
before
getting
one.
one out of me.
like 0.
Dang.
Like I wish I could make it up. So that is definitely
Oh wait, I
why he
learned this the
was.
other day. So his didn't even register. His
Yeah,
didn't even register.
We want every side to come together to attempt to take down the 100 side.
Man, they gotta understand.
We want all the
right?
smoke.
We go off the content.
Three, two, one. Hey there, welcome back to the channel where we keep it real. No capping. I'm your host, bringing you nothing but straight fire and authenticity. Today, we're diving into 12 rooms that I got to promote. The 100 ENT showroom, hosted by Big Wack100. The Beehive room. Love and R&B room, hosted by the queen of the 100 side, R&B. No room for the weak. No mercy room. Spin the block room. 100 ENT Jailbreak Squad room. 100 ENT South room. Petty Betty and Toxic Tanya room. Dangerous Minds room, hosted by Beast. Good Burger, hosted by Pitbull. Sleepless in LA, and many more. If you want to get closer or you want to be a part of the show, go to Clubhouse, follow one of these rooms, or you look for a room titled with Wack100. These particular videos all made possible by the one and only Wack100. Get ready to vibe with me as we explore the hardest topics that need some real recognition in the streets. Let's jump right into it and show some love to this channel by hitting the like and or subscribe button. So, without further ado, hold it down. One mic on Wack.
My brother was killed in 22.
So it took them 3 years to do DNA?
They said that Big U was running for a long time, like he didn't want to take the DNA test.
But here goes the thing. Big U. Okay, so, ooh, that's bad. They made me swab, but then again, Big U had a dope case, huh? He might not have. So he probably wasn't. He had a dope case, it's conspiracy. So,
Yeah, they found his DNA test in my brother's nails. So basically,
how you doing?
I'm okay. How you doing?
Good. I was tripping that it took 3 years
4 years.
to
3 years.
run DNA.
It just made.
So what? They was contacting Big U to come give up DNA and he wouldn't do it?
Well, what had happened was when they was doing the investigation and they wanted to take down DNA, he wouldn't give them his DNA. So they had to serve him a search warrant to get his DNA.
And I want to send a question to Big U. Aside from the allegations you got with the street stuff, the streets don't really hold no weight. But as a man, and you say you for the community, and this young man was living with you, and you have no answers. You have tried to find no answers. The kid was living with you, man. He played football at Crenshaw High School. And what do you got to say about this? Like, where's your input on it? How do you feel about it? Because I've seen you go out and say, when homies got killed, that if anybody got the information, to give it to you. You said this before, so why haven't you said this about the young man who was living with you at the time he got murdered? It's just crazy. Like this one of the things that hits home. Like I say, you know, people saw me be a gangbanger. You know, it kind of come with the territory. You know, some things, you know, you'll end up dead or in jail. But this situation right here was a little different. It's not a gangbanger, and his family just wants closure on what's going on. So I'm asking you, challenging you, and
That it? All right. I think that is very important to note as well. Big U is this cool with somebody, you know what I'm saying? We're at a point of Rayshawn and Big U, they living together, or they're closer to each other, what so have you, right? This guy doesn't pull up to the funeral. DNA is found under Rayshawn's fingernails, and it lines up to Big U, and Big U had a problem with this DNA testing, as y'all just heard in this audio. Now, we do want to take note that he did have a business arrangement with Rayshawn. They entered into a formal partnership where Big U would manage, you know, Rayshawn's career. However, Rayshawn became disillusioned with control Big U had over his career and finances. Rayshawn wanted out of the deal, and this created a rising tension. Now, it has been stated that Rayshawn viewed Big U as a mentor, but Big U pretty much treated him as an asset, nothing more, nothing less, not a person, not anything to that nature. Rayshawn's, you know, he had growing frustration, and it stemmed from unfair contracts, limited creative control, and broken promises of future successes. Now, these people that we were talking about earlier, M. Johnson, Big U had an influence extended to the underground rap scene where his label had been, you know, several promising acts. Rayshawn's growing popularity threatened Big U's standing, especially with rival artist Malik M. Johnson rising in the industry. Now, here's Malik's connection to Big U. Big U had close ties with Malik's crew, and there was whispers that Big U encouraged Malik's rivalry with Rayshawn. You know, kind of egging it on type of thing. This created even more animosity and jealousy between the two. I mean, we definitely experienced, you know, maybe somebody will say something and egg something on, and now you're beefing with the person harder than what you even supposed to be beefing the person with. You understand? So Malik's street ties and desire for dominance in the music scene were amplified by Big U's manipulation, putting more pressure on Rayshawn. Now, good question. Now, some people do ask, was Rayshawn a threat to Big U's son, UI Popcorn music career? We'll get into that. Now, as for Big U's absence at Rayshawn's funeral, a lot of people definitely had a raised eyebrow. For being a no-show, despite having played a significant role in Rayshawn's career, Big U did not attend the funeral. This definitely raised some eyebrows, because was it due to guilt over growing rift between them? Or was he trying to distance himself from the situation just entirely? His absence at the funeral was highly suspicious. Some believed that it was a sign of cold attachment, and some others believed that he was avoiding public attention because of his involvement. Now, let's get into the breakdown of the DNA evidence, and then we'll get into
Bring 600 up.
Oh, perfect. Look at that. Minds if y'all can go ahead and do that. Now, this is the mind-boggling part, and this is kind of what we heard 600 speaking on his Instagram. Now, there was DNA found under Rayshawn's fingernails. When forensic investigators examined Rayshawn's body, DNA under his fingernails was found to match Big U. Now, in the audio that we just heard from Wack100, it was also alleged that Big U was definitely not trying to get tested for the DNA results. And in fact, a lot of people can witness to and attest to Big U and Rayshawn being, you know, the last type of interaction that Rayshawn had at the time. Now, this was a shocking discovery that pretty much indicated that Rayshawn might have struggled or tried to defend himself against Big U. This definitely suggested a violent confrontation between them prior to his death. Now, we might ask, how did Big U's DNA end up under Rayshawn's nails? Could this be a sign of physical altercation? I mean, we have a lot of questions here. Now, let's get into his son, right? Big U's son. Now we're gonna get into his son. So Big U's son is also known as his protege. He's around the same age as Rayshawn Williams. He's in his early 20s. He's a rising figure in the music and street scene. He's pretty much just trying to make a name for himself. Big U's son and Rayshawn's were once friends, but their relationships became strained when Rayshawn gained more success than he did. Big U's son resented Rayshawn's growing prominence in the music world, and it felt like, Rayshawn was taking some of the spotlight that he had hoped that would shine on him, type of thing. Your dad being Big U and you not taking off like that, he's definitely growing attention there. So Rayshawn's decision to distance himself from Big U's label in favor of independent deals created more tension, leading to arguments. This caused friction between them, but Big U's son was not directly involved in the contact until the fallout between Rayshawn and Big U escalated. So definitely keep that in mind. Now let's see. I know you lying. So his son got a song with Sean Kingston, and I guess he goes by the name of Yui Popcorn now, and he has 0 monthly listeners on Spotify. If we have to go ahead and add that in there,
Like 0, the number before
getting
1.
one out of me.
like 0.
Dang.
Like, I wish I could make it up. So that is definitely
Oh wait, I learned this the other day. So he didn't even register.
Yeah, no, I just see some I don't even see a song. I think it's a song named Haters. They came out in 2014. That's about it. He has 0 monthly listeners. So I mean, we could kind of figure out how far he went with his music ordeal.
Wait, really quick. Where was this young man found, T?
Huh?
Where was the young man found?
In the northeast desert, Apex Desert in Las Vegas.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna do some research, but somebody in the chat said Nip had a verse that said he got an L but got an E for effort, stretched it, dropped him off in the Mojave Desert, then left him.
Damn.
Oh.
That's specific.
That's cold.
That's very
but it's
specific.
Normal. It's normal.
Huh. Let me go look this up real quick.
We ain't gonna say specific. It's normal.
That's very specific.
I'm gonna say specific. That's specific.
That's specific.
Very
it's normal.
specific.
No.
Pooh Shicey said
I'm
he
sure
wrote the lyric. Oh, well,
I'm sure there's many other cases. There's many other cases with this or that. I wouldn't say it's specific.
Okay, now let's get back into it, right? So we just gonna call him Yui, all right? just for us keeping on to the story, right? So the family legacy, just to give y'all a little background, his son started building his own reputation. He was growing up around Big U, of course, so he had some sort of ordeal around street smarts, musical ambition, and he was constantly in conflict over wanting to separate himself from his father's criminals' dealings while still benefiting from his father's influence. It's crazy, right? So he also had ties to Malik. Some people believe that Big U's son, or Yui, might have had personal vendetta against Rayshawn, especially since Malik, a rival artist we went over earlier, was also tied to Big U's son underground crew. Malik and Rayshawn's rivalry could have been seen as something Big U's son, or Yui, wanted to take advantage of, manipulating his ties with Malik to act out of frustration. Now let's go into the gun incident. Unseen allegiances. The 9mm, was somebody gonna say something? I'm sorry. Oh, that's BJ. Sorry, BJ. Gotta mute you, boo. But unseen allegiances. Now, this 9mm gun used in the was connected to Big U's son's crew. Ding, 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 ding. connected to Yui's. All right, Yui Popcorn with 0 monthly listeners. Yeah, that guy. It was connected to that crew. While Big U's son is not directly involved in the murder, though, he could have had access to the weapon and may have played a key role in distributing it among his crew. There are also rumors circulating that Big U's son might have been the one who loaned the gun to a member of Malik's crew, perhaps without his father's knowledge or with it, leading to speculation that his youthful ambition got the better of him, pulling him into a situation that just spiraled out of control. Now the question is, with Big U's DNA being found on Rayshawn, the gun, the 9mm handgun, is Big U's son's like crew type of thing, like it's been loaned out. Now mind you, to go back to what Blue was saying earlier, what we were talking about earlier, right? The went missing, quote unquote. Is it possible that somebody in the inner crew accident or took the to, carry out with this premeditated murder? Is what it sounded like. It sounds like this is all premeditated, and it sounds like Big U didn't want somebody to get ahead of his son, and his son felt the same exact way. And the DNA is lining up to it. I'm sorry, did somebody have something to say?
Nah, I wouldn't necessarily say that, it has to lead up to the person, any person would have.
Boy, what the are you talking about?
Yeah, the dope case is conspiracy. So,
Yeah, they
wait,
found his DNA test in my brother Nails. It just made.
So what? They was contacting Big U to come give up DNA and he wouldn't do it?
Well, what had happened was when they was doing the investigation and they wanted to take down DNA, he wouldn't give them his DNA, so they had to serve him a search warrant to get his DNA.
Dope case is conspiracy. So
Yeah, they
wait,
found his DNA test in my brother Nails.
So there's that, y'all. Also, there are possible fingerprints. So DNA or fingerprints from Yui or Big U's son might have been found at key locations on the crime scene, such as inside the vehicle near the scene or on the gun casing itself. This could definitely link or put Yui in some trouble or some heat, and it could definitely put him directly at the crime scene and the weapon that was used at the crime scene. Now, we may ask, all right, so we have all this evidence, we're hearing all this audio. I mean, what's next, right? So, I'm sorry, somebody, you got something to say? So, who keeps on coming off mic? Pharaoh, what do you have to say?
I didn't necessarily say nothing, but if I was to say something, I'm trying to figure out what pinpoints a person to using the gun, or like to the actual crime itself, like a specific person.
So I'm not sure if you're
Other
listening to the
YNs,
entire story.
YNs is a lot.
Pharaoh,
Okay, so
not right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're listening to the story, but there was DNA that is actually on the gun casing itself. It's DNA under Rayshawn's fingernails. It's DNA, so it puts them directly there. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is the absence of direct involvement. There has been a denial of involvement. Initially, Yui claimed to have been nowhere near the scene the night of the murder and has denied being involved in any way. He maintains that the gun is not his and that any connection to Malik or Rayshawn was strictly professional, right? My ass. There was a lack of a solid alibi. Investigators have a hard time confirming where Yui was that night. There was a lack of clear alibis that make him a key figure in the investigation, even though he hasn't been charged to this day. Now, what you are asking, Pharaoh, this is now we already talked about it though, but DNA and fingerprints, it was found at key locations. The vehicle near the scene and the gun case in itself, it puts him directly there at the crime scene. I'm
That's
pretty sure
specific.
anybody knows that.
That specific person, it puts them where you're saying. Like it's not like it's maybe it's like it's him for sure.
Okay, just keep up with us, okay? So now we have
just want to make sure
clues.
because I don't like to put people
Just
in
get you
jail.
some milk, and then after you drink that milk, you'll figure.
Yeah,
No, I
so
don't like to put people in jail if they don't belong in jail.
we're not putting nobody in jail. This is strictly a murder mystery, and we're putting 1 and 1 together. And if you have sense, it'll equal 2. And if you don't, it might equal 3.
I'm asking the questions. You can't go wrong with asking questions.
Okay, maybe I'm missing on what question you're trying to ask here.
Like, all right, so who's actually in trouble for it? Who actually has DNA and actually has something towards
the forensic
that
people?
Weapon?
The people who tested, law officials, people want to know how he died, sir. If we go find a body right now, if we go find a right, you're talking about the DNA and everything like that, right?
I'm talking about the person who may have did it.
Right, and it's all leading up to Big U and his son. Okay, so let me go ahead and paint this out for you, right? So Big U and Rayshawn, they have a falling out because they have a disagreement about management issues, financial issues. Rayshawn at this point, he's just over it. He wants nothing to do with Big U at this point in time, right? Mm-hmm. Now we find a group of hikers end up finding Rayshawn's body in a northeast desert, the Apex Desert in Las Vegas, right? They go ahead and send him through the whole autopsy thing, the whole toxicology thing, everything head to toe. They end up finding DNA underneath his fingernails. Now, it's not confirmed yet whose DNA it was because, as we heard in the audio, Big U was, it was tooth and nail to try to get him in there to submit his DNA. He did not want to do it, but he ended up doing it, and they ended up matching the DNA underneath the fingernails to Big U himself. Now, this that was used there, it was linked to Big U's son or Huey Popcorn's crew. The crew had alleged that they had went missing, and then now we come to find out that the was loaned. Do you understand where we're heading with this now? Do you understand? If not, then I'm sorry. I don't know how much we can slow this down for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and get more into
I do understand the direction of narrative. Okay. I don't understand a exact proof.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the clues and evidence involving his son, and hopefully this can help you out a little bit. So there was eyewitness accounts. There were car sightings. Let's see. Word is Big U saying his henchman Floss is from 60s did it without them knowing it. Is Big U trying to get it off on him? Let me look that up. Okay. So that's something we got to come back to as well, because there was word around saying that Big U saying, his henchman Floss, Giovanni Floss, also known as Giovanni Jones, from the 60s did it without them knowing. So we got to keep that in mind as well. Floss, aka Giovanni Jones, same thing, y'all. Now, we do have eyewitness accounts. So with this car sighting thing, a witness claims to have seen Big U's son's car near the scene hours before the murder. The witness was unsure if he saw Big U's son himself, but he does recall the distinctive car being associated with him. Now, of course, we have the rivalry rumors, gossip around the music industry suggested, Huey Popcorn with the 0 monthly listeners. And Malik may have been involved in some kind of plan to deal with Rayshawn. You know, that envy thing could definitely take you anywhere. Now, I'm not sure if this answered your question, Pharaoh, but again, we do have the gun that was traced back to Big U's son's crew, suggesting that someone close to him may have either loaned the weapon or given it to Malik's crew to use during the murder. And then, of course, we have the jealousy, resentment, and the idea that Rayshawn was, you know, way ahead than most people in this whole ordeal. Now, let's get into Mr. Giovanni Jones. Does that answer your question, sir?
I'm gonna ride it.
I don't understand what you're not understanding, though.
No, I want to hear it. I want to hear more.
Okay. So, let's see. Who was Giovanni Jones and what does he have to do with this? Do we have any other comments or statements, anything to that nature on the stage? Conspiracy theories are definitely open, but please do know that this is not a true reflection of the 100 show or Wack100. Unless you guys hear Wack100 coming off the mic saying his opinion, then that's when you guys go ahead and take it as that. But until then, please do take the opinion and or statement coming from the person off mic. All right. Now let me do a little research because, yeah, who is this Giovanni person? Apparently he runs with Big U and he runs with Gunner right now. Big U sent them to search his house for the gun. So where is the gun now? Now they're rumoring that Giovanni Jones, also known as Floss, whatever his name is, Floss, they're saying that he's the shooter of the whole thing. Now, when we're talking about crew this, crew that, I know it's very broad, right? We're looking like, okay, there's so many people within the crew, but it has been rumored over the years, these recent years, that Giovanni Floss Jones was the shooter, rumored. Now, it is also rumored that Big U sent niggas up in his house to search for the gun and some more shit. All right. Now, this is all alleged. All right. We're going to take it as such. We're going to treat it as such. But welcome to the 100 ENT show. We got a little murder mystery going on this morning on Rayshawn Williams, who was found in the northeast Las Vegas desert, the Apex Desert. Right now we are just going over all possibilities, but however, these are the key details and the key factors that we have brought up thus far. So a group of hikers end up going hiking in the desert. They end up coming up on this body that was seemingly dropped off. This is a desert known of drop-offs. You understand what I'm saying? They end up finding DNA underneath his fingertips, and it was Big U's DNA. There was also a lot of alleged beef going on, a lot of jealousy as well, simply because Rayshawn was on the rise. He was mistaken by, going after the management of Big U. However, when he was done with it, and we just see everything fall apart then. Now, we did hear the video with 600 talking on his Instagram. These are the key things that are weird after he passes away. Now, Big U does not want to go ahead and submit his DNA, but I guess after pulling a little tooth and nail, he had to get in there to get that submitted. Another thing as well that was weird was that he was a no-show to the funeral. That's also weird. The 9mm gun was connected to somebody in that camp over there in Big U's camp. The shooter was said to be somebody from the 60s, and they went inside his house to search for them that had went missing 2 months prior to the murder. There were also financial interests that Big U also had that was directly tied to Rayshawn's disappearance. So that could have been threatened, you know, because if Rayshawn is leaving the deal, then I mean, there's no money to be made at that point. So we could definitely look at that as well. But do we have anybody on stage that would like to, that has any questions, comments, statements, concerns, anything?
When Wack was playing, when they were playing the content earlier, and it was a female voice, was that his sister?
Now, will Wack play? I don't know. We're gonna ask Wack when he come back in here. Maybe R&B or 600. Maybe he knows. But me personally, I don't know like the voices.
Yeah, I just wanted to make. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wanted to get that clear. And then because I remember she said that the mood was changing. So like Big U mood has changed. Like he wasn't the same. So I wonder like did he allegedly call this hit out? And then once he came back or whatever, his whole mood was different. His whole vibe was different. So that's why I just wanted to know.
Right. Well, whose vibe? Whose vibe? Big U's vibe?
Yeah, Big U's vibe. Because she was basically saying when I seen Big U, his vibe was different.
That's another thing. Now, I do want to, you know what I heard 600 speaking about?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Maybe I can look it up real quick. Because I wanted to know about the living arrangement and kind of how that looked like.
Yeah, who always living there?
Yeah. Is that 600 himself? Or who is that, Blue?
That was Blue.
Yeah, like that's... Who was all living there, and did they have like discrepancies while they were in the house together? And if so, like were witnesses there to kind of see that?
Tink, do you know how long the body was out in the desert?
Let's see.
Like when did he come up missing, and when did they find his body?
Let's see. He was missing for about 2 weeks. His disappearance and the circumstances surrounding his death raised many questions. Now, I do want to know a little bit more about that living situation. I feel like that would definitely, Oh, we got some work. Is Press here? One of the exposers? One of y'all? Floss, aka Giovanni Jones, it was also listed as a victim. Therefore, he potentially told on the guy who's doing life on this case.
Wack, was you trying to say something?
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, see, this is crazy. I'm
not gonna lie, like this definitely like this is better than coffee this morning. I'm not gonna lie to you. Make sure y'all do get y'all coffee like that.
Yeah, love this shit finna go crazy. This shit finna go crazy.